I think they're living and then growing up in a world where it's much more talked about than when we were growing up.
At just 9 years old, Princess Charlotte made headlines with a statement about Prince William. What she said wasn't just surprising, it made history. The revelation has left people across the country in shock. One thing is clear, the monarchy's future may never look the same again. It's hard to believe someone so young could say something so powerful, but that's exactly what happened. Christmas at Sandringham has always held a special place in the royal family's heart. Every year, the Grand Norfolk estate transforms into a warm, festive retreat where the family can come together away from public eyes. Inside, they share long dinners, sing softly by the piano, and exchange gifts with smiles and laughter. Even with cameras outside and formalities to follow, behind those historic walls, it's simply a family reconnecting for a few quiet days. There's a cozy comfort in the air. The scent of pine and fresh flowers fills the rooms, and everyone quickly slips into familiar traditions. Laughter echoes, playful teasing takes place, and rare moments of closeness emerge across generations. It's a time for being themselves, parents, kids, siblings, and cousins. But this particular Christmas brought a moment no one could have seen coming. Something that touched every person in the room. Those close to the palace say it happened one evening in the drawing room. The family had gathered, as usual. The lighting was soft and golden. The atmosphere was calm and peaceful. Prince William was finally getting some rare downtime with his family. His days are normally packed with events, speeches, and the heavy responsibilities that come with being the future king. This was meant to be a brief pause, a few days to unwind with his wife and children. Princess Charlotte, lively as ever, moved easily around the room. She chatted, helped untangle ribbons from a box of decorations, and gently teased her brothers nearby. She was full of energy and her usual cheerful spirit. Then something shifted. In the middle of the evening, Charlotte stopped what she was doing. She walked over to her father and looked him directly in the eyes. The room fell silent. No one expected anything unusual. Then she spoke. Her voice was quiet. Not dramatic or loud, just calm and serious, coming from somewhere deep within. She told her father she understood how busy he was, that he had a lot to take care of as a prince. But she missed him. She missed having him just as her dad. Her words were honest, direct, and full of emotion, spoken the way only a child can. Everything froze in that moment. The noise, the movement, even the cheerful conversations faded. The room felt like it was holding its breath. For several seconds, no one said a word. Kate, sitting nearby, turned toward her daughter slowly. Her eyes widened in surprise. But there was something more, pride. She wasn't embarrassed or upset. Instead, she looked at Charlotte with admiration, as if she was seeing her in a new light, brave, honest, and wise beyond her years. William didn't respond right away. He just stood there, his expression slowly changing. The calm, practiced look he usually wore started to fade. In its place was something much more real. His eyes lowered, and his lips pressed together. In that moment, he wasn't a prince. He wasn't the future king. He was simply a father who had just heard something deeply meaningful from his daughter. Charlotte hadn't meant to upset him. Her words weren't harsh or critical. They were just true. She'd noticed something that made her feel a little distant from him, and she found the courage to express it. She wasn't looking for attention or trying to stir emotion. She just needed him to understand how she felt. And she believed he would listen. That simple exchange broke through all the formalities and expectations that usually define their lives. It wasn't about royalty or tradition. It was about something much more personal. A little girl asking her father to be more present, more connected, more emotionally available. And he heard her. That one moment, just a few sincere words, shifted everything. People had always seen Charlotte as bright and spirited. But now, they saw something deeper in her. Something that set her apart, and as she was always known for her quick wit and charm during public events. But this time, she revealed something more, something deeper. She showed courage and honesty. She noticed something that needed to be addressed and found the right words to express it. The atmosphere in the room shifted. Her words reminded everyone of what was truly important. In that moment, they weren't just members of the royal family, they were simply a family. And with quiet strength, one young girl had reminded them of that. This moment sparked a subtle change within the royal household, starting with William. Gradually, and almost without notice, he began to focus more on the smaller things, the ones that usually slip by in a busy life. His attention wasn't just on Charlotte, but on all three of his children. His presence grew softer. Hugs lasted a little longer. Laughter came more naturally, less like something done out of habit. The way he looked at Kate began to change as well. His eyes carried a softness, a deeper presence. It was as though he had been rushing through life, caught up in duties and distractions, and now he was finally slowing down to appreciate what had always been right there. Charlotte never spoke of it again, but she didn't need to. Her words had struck the right chord, and their impact was unmistakable. In the days that followed, it became obvious something in William had changed. Obviously fantastic, and she's been a little joy of heaven, but, at the same time, it is more responsibility, looking after two little ones. His transformation wasn't about big gestures but could be seen in everyday moments that often go unnoticed. He showed up more, not just physically, but emotionally. He listened with more intent. He stayed engaged in conversations. He laughed at things he might have once ignored. Charlotte's voice had reached through the weight of duty and reminded him of who he truly was, a father, a husband, a human being. For Kate, witnessing this change was deeply meaningful. She had always been devoted to nurturing her children's emotional well-being, making sure they felt seen and heard. Watching Charlotte act with such maturity moved her in a profound way. There was pride in her calm expression, not the loud kind, but the quiet confidence that comes from seeing your child grow into someone strong and thoughtful. Charlotte wasn't just fulfilling her royal role. She was thinking, feeling, and acting from the heart. She had displayed a rare kind of bravery, speaking up in an environment where silence is often the norm. In a family expected to remain polished and composed under constant public scrutiny, her moment stood out. People had always seen Charlotte as the playful one, the little girl pulling funny faces, teasing her brothers, and beaming for the cameras. But this time, something deeper emerged. The moment allowed people to see a different side of her, a girl with insight and empathy, someone who noticed when something was missing and cared enough to say so. What made the moment even more powerful was that it happened away from the spotlight. There were no cameras, no headlines. It wasn't shared online or staged for a royal photo op. It happened quietly, behind closed doors at the palace. Only those close to the family knew about it. But through them, the story slowly made its way out. And that's what made it so special. It wasn't about publicity, it was about real people, a real family, navigating life together amid tradition and expectation. It was the youngest among them who reminded everyone of what matters most, being present, being kind, and staying connected. By the end of their holiday, not everything had changed. William's royal obligations were still waiting. The busy schedule hadn't disappeared. But something in the air felt different. The bonds between them had deepened. William began carving out more time for his family, and their closeness grew. To understand the confident, thoughtful, and brave girl Charlotte is today, it's these quiet, powerful moments that tell the story. Her journey isn't just about growing up in a palace, it's about becoming someone who sees the world with depth, feels deeply, and speaks with heart. Her life began uniquely. From the moment she was born on May 2, 2015, her arrival was met with public celebration and excitement outside the Lindo. At St. Mary's Hospital in London, people had already gathered, waiting eagerly. Cameras were aimed at the entrance as reporters, royal fans, and curious onlookers stood for hours. Everyone was anticipating a glimpse of the newest royal family member. When Charlotte finally appeared in her mother's arms, wrapped in a white blanket, the crowd erupted in cheers. The moment was truly unforgettable. Across the country, gun salutes rang out and celebrations took place. It was a grand welcome, fitting for a child born into such a legacy. From the start, Charlotte had a noticeable spark in her eyes, confident and alert. Even as a baby, she stood out and didn't blend into the background. Her name, Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, carried rich significance. It wasn't just lovely to hear, it paid tribute to 3 generations. Charlotte honored her grandfather, Prince Charles. Elizabeth was chosen in recognition of her great-grandmother, the Queen. And Diana, the name of her late grandmother, created a touching link to a deeply loved figure in royal history. The name firmly connected Charlotte to her family's legacy. Although she was born into the public eye, her early life was deliberately kept private. Her family mostly lived at Anmer Hall, a country estate in Norfolk, away from constant media attention. This peaceful and spacious setting gave Charlotte a chance to enjoy a more typical childhood. She played outdoors, explored nature, and spent time with her older brother, George. Her parents were committed to raising her as normally as possible, and Anmer Hall helped make that happen. At home, she followed her mother in the kitchen, took walks with her father, and lived a life far from the flashing cameras faced by many royals. Still, despite their efforts to stay private, the public remained deeply interested in Charlotte. Every time new pictures of her were released, on birthdays, holidays, or special occasions, people noticed her charm. She had a natural ability to draw attention without even trying. When she did attend public events, her strong presence was obvious. A major shift came in 2017 when the family moved to Kensington Palace in London. The move brought them closer to royal responsibilities and public life. For Charlotte, it marked a new phase. She was no longer just a quiet country girl. Her public appearances increased, and the world began to see more of her vibrant personality. One key moment came during her younger brother Prince Louis's christening. Now a big sister, Charlotte took her new role to heart. While much attention was on the baby, she confidently waved at the crowd and made playful faces. She walked comfortably, as if she instinctively understood the importance of the occasion. Her actions didn't seem rehearsed or forced, they came naturally. She appeared completely at ease, standing proudly beside her family. Not long after, Charlotte began school, starting at Wilcox Nursery near Kensington Palace. Later, she attended Thomas's School in Battersea. At school, she was simply known as Charlotte Cambridge, like her brother George. There were no special titles, she wore the same uniform, took the same lessons, and was treated like every other student. This helped her stay grounded. Though the world saw her as a princess, her classmates knew her as just another child. Still, public interest in her didn't fade. Her confident expressions and playful personality continued to capture attention. At one event, she cheekily stuck her tongue out, sparking media buzz. At another, she politely reminded photographers to stay quiet. These weren't innocent slips, Charlotte was aware of her surroundings and knew what she was doing. Her self-assurance came from a supportive home, parents who let her express herself, and a lifestyle that balanced royal duty with personal freedom. Yet, one often overlooked part of her story is her historical place in the line of succession. Before Charlotte was born, male heirs always took precedence over their older sisters. But the Perth Agreement changed that, modernizing the succession laws. Because of this, when Prince Louis was born, Charlotte kept her spot as fourth in line to the throne, right after George. It was a quiet but significant moment in royal history. For the first time, a royal daughter wasn't moved aside simply because she was female. Though she's still young, Charlotte's life has already been remarkable. Her story is one of blending royal tradition with modern values, and dignity with individuality. Though she was born into royalty, her journey feels both new and enduring. From the moment she arrived, she has been observed, admired, and celebrated, yet she's also been given the space to grow into herself. That rare combination of attention and freedom is part of what makes her story so compelling to so many. Princess Charlotte has an appeal that goes beyond her royal birth or the attention she receives. It's not simply the titles, ceremonies, or media coverage that make her stand out. It's how she carries herself through it all. The way she handles being in the spotlight, even at such a young age, shows a remarkable sense of self. To outsiders, her life might appear like a fairy tale: grand homes, beautiful gowns, royal occasions, and a constant stream of public admiration. But the truth is more complicated. There's pressure at every turn. Every move she makes is noticed. Every expression, every smile, every tiny interaction is analyzed and discussed. Still, Charlotte never seems burdened. She meets every moment with quiet confidence, as if she knows she belongs. She doesn't tone herself down to meet anyone's expectations of what a royal child should be. She doesn't hide behind perfect posture or rehearsed grace. She just shows up as herself, vibrant, spirited, and full of life. People connect with her because she offers glimpses of authenticity. They see her clutching her mother's hand tightly before an event. They notice her whispering to her brothers during formal occasions that would bore most kids. Even when she's waving to crowds, there's always something real and unfiltered in her presence. Though she may wear a crown one day, for now, she's still just a child discovering her world. She's still growing, learning, and figuring out who she wants to become. Over time, her appearances have started to show more than just a playful, confident child. A different side has emerged too, one of quiet awareness and grace. She's not only the expressive little girl who once captured hearts with her quick waves and bold glances. Now, there's also a calm depth in her demeanor. When Queen Elizabeth passed, Charlotte stood with her family, dressed in black, composed and still. Her eyes were steady, her expression serious. She knew what that moment meant. That scene revealed something important: she wasn't just reacting anymore. She was beginning to understand her place in history. Even at her age, she's starting to embrace her role, not in a forced or heavy way, but with natural poise. She isn't pretending to be perfect. She's simply being herself, and that's what sets her apart. She doesn't perform a royal identity. She lives it in her own way. That one moment during the Queen's funeral said a lot about her world. Her presence didn't feel scripted or staged. It felt real. And in that, it also showed how the younger generation is changing what it means to be royal. Whenever Charlotte appears in public, she adds something uniquely hers. Whether it's cheering at a sports game, curtsying with elegance, or sharing a laugh with her brothers on the palace balcony, she brings a sense of spark that's hard to miss. She's not just following in royal footsteps, she's creating her own path. What's perhaps even more striking is how naturally she engages with the cameras. From the beginning, she seemed to understand the power of subtle expression. She didn't need dramatic poses or loud gestures to be noticed. Her eyes and movements spoke for her. There was no shyness when the flashbulbs went off. Instead, she often looked directly at the photographers, as if to say she knew exactly what was happening, and she owned her moment. That early self-assurance became something of a signature. One sharp glance from her could instantly go viral. Her reactions were effortless, yet magnetic. She became known for her sass, not because she was rude, but because she was real. She didn't feel the need to mask her feelings with carefully crafted politeness. She showed genuine emotion, and she didn't seem to care who was watching. Most importantly, she wasn't putting on a show. It's just how she is. One memorable example came during King Charles's coronation. The ceremony was rich in tradition and solemnity, but right in the middle of it, Charlotte managed to stand out, without saying a single word. Something nearby caught her attention, and for just a second, her face changed, focused, slightly annoyed, completely herself. That small expression was captured and shared everywhere. People were fascinated, wondering what she had seen or what she was thinking. And that's what makes her so captivating: she doesn't need to explain. The world watches and fills in the story on its own. Later that year, at the 2024 Royal Christmas Walk, she revealed yet another layer of her growing confidence. As her family greeted the crowd and posed for photos, the cameras came a little too close. In response, Charlotte gave a single firm look: no words, no drama, just a calm, clear signal. And in that moment, she took full command of the scene. She still manages to stay true to herself, even during public events. Charlotte isn't trying to rebel against the system or defy traditions. She follows the rules, understanding when to bow, wave, or smile. What sets her apart, however, is that she remains authentic throughout it all. She lets all sides of her personality shine, whether she's feeling proud, playful, frustrated, or happy. She doesn't fake it. There's no royal facade. She's just being herself. This kind of genuineness is rare in royal life, where everything is usually scripted and controlled. But Charlotte brings a refreshing change. It's easy to see why people are drawn to her. There's a certain magnetism in the way she carries herself. Her confidence is calm but unwavering, and while her presence may be subtle, it's undeniably impactful. Every time she steps into the spotlight, she reveals a bit more of who she's becoming. Though Charlotte is still young, she's already showing the world the kind of person she is. She has strength, natural leadership, and an honest playfulness that shines through. As she matures, her inner light will only grow brighter. What do you think of Princess Charlotte's personality? Do you believe she will grow into a unique royal? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And before you go, check out the other videos on your screen.